What's up, everybody? Welcome to Around the Bases, December 2022, Thursday morning.
It's the bearded wonder.
Joined by the stat guy and by Jay McLovin. How's it going, guys?
I'll tell you how it's going. I'm pissed.
I want to find one of these money trees that Major League Baseball found and plant one in my backyard.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, man. Hey, guys, no bullshit. I'm fucking pissed. I'm disgusted. I hate the way we conduct our politics these days. I hate the fact that we're letting known terrorists, arms dealers go for WNBA star. No offense. Hey, Brittany Griner, I'm glad you're home. But ESPN, you mentioned nothing about the other Americans that are held over there that were supposed to come home, quote unquote, with her. You mentioned nothing about them. So I'm disgusted. I hate everything about Biden and his administration. He can go fuck himself. Okay, I'm off my rant.
Well, it's 9 a.m. Jay's already fired up.
I mean, I don't get how we do our business. I'm glad that she's free, but the way that she was freed, I don't particularly care for.
Oh no, I understand what you're saying. How you doing, stat guy?
Good, very good.
Not as fired up as Jay.
Hey, nobody gets fired up like Jay, man. It was a rough night last night. Old Mel had 102-degree fever, so I had to be in servant mode.
Oh,
she had that little bell, man. She couldn't shake that thing fast enough. Here comes Jay. Yeah. Theraflu, what you want, girl? But no, hey, what a time to be alive. Hey, we talk about money tree and baseball. Hey, these cats were handing out money like it was going out of style, man. I've never seen so much money get exchanged. And Astros, what are we doing? You have yet to sign a catcher. We've seen 2 catchers go off the board. Vasquez is being talked to. What are we doing, man? Yeah, we got Maldonado, but damn, we need a backup catcher in case he gets injured. What are we going to do? You think Corey Lee's going to get it done? Come on now. Come on. What are we doing? And then we got to get another outfielder. Now, they're talking about bringing back Brantley. That's fine, but he's also injury prone. Why have we not made a move on being tended? Why are we not getting these deals to Jim Crane? Maybe you got to go find Click. Bring his ass back. Get these damn deals done. We got 2 positions that we got to fill. Outfield, well, specifically left field. And then we got to fill damn catcher. Come on, man. Damn.
Do you guys think that Aaron Judge made the right decision staying with the Yankees?
I don't know, man. Philosophically, I guess if he loves the team, financially, hell no. I think I'd have taken that 400. I don't know, man. 40 mil. He would have been. I don't even think he sees the 40 mil, that extra 40 mil. I think he would have retired probably by then. So probably. Yeah, probably. I mean, he has a great fan base out there in Newark. Everybody loves him. So I think he did at the end of the day.
What do you think, stat guy?
I think he did in terms of the money, but I'm more curious to see what happens with the Giants and what direction they go, because if you remember back when the season ended, the Giants general manager said they were not going to get outbid by anybody for Aaron Judge. Well, they got outbid. So now what? How are you going to look your fans in the face and say, well, I did not do what I said I was going to do?
Frankie says I sound like an upset Astros fan. Frankie, if you would not have signed Aaron Judge, I promise you'd have sounded the same way. What a time to be alive, old Frankie over there. Hey, look, just because you got your start, don't mean you're going to start picking on us.
Yeah, I think Judge made the right decision for a couple reasons. One, they're being with the Yankees. He's familiar, but the other reason is that ballpark. It's a hitter friendly ballpark. Ball flies out of there. Where if you go, say you went to San Diego, that's a little bit bigger diamond. That's lower at sea level. The ball don't fly out as well. Not saying he still wouldn't get home runs because he's a big, strong dude, but I don't think he's going to hit many home runs there as he will in Yankee Stadium. But I do think he's going to have to win a championship, or everybody's going to call this contract a disappointment if they gave him 9 years and all this money if they don't get at least one World Series out of it.
And it's true. And let's be honest. I mean, yeah, the Yankees did, fill up or secure up that hole. Yeah, they did, get Severino contract and things like that. But at the same time, they lost Justin Tyone, which I'm not a Tyone fan, but still, I think Tyone is better than Montas. And so when you let go of Tyone, Montas is going to slide up. Now, Frankie says he's okay with that rotation. That's fine. I mean, if you're okay with the rotation, that's fine. But I just don't think like they have addressed their biggest need, which is that bullpen. You know, they have glaring holes in that reliever and back end. If you think that Chad Hamill, because they like what Aroldis Chapman didn't even. I mean, he's out there still in his house, probably chilling on the couch. So they have a glaring need at closer. They don't have a good setup, man, or even a good middle relief. So what are we talking about with the Yankees? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, they got their big piece of getting Judge back, but they still got other moves they have to make if they want to get that team the team around them good enough to go after a World Series.
I thought the biggest team that really did the best was the Phillies. I felt like bringing in Trey Turner was a great move at shortstop, but it also is a gap fill and run production while you have Bryce Harper on the sidelines, and you'll get him back at the All-Star break. And my God, when he comes back, you throw him into the lineup, man, that's going to be ferocious. But again, they brought in Walker, they brought in Strom. They're decent mid-level relievers, but is it going to be enough to get them over the hump? Because still, in my opinion, they're hurting in the relief department.
Yeah, I agree with you. They still got to do something with the pitching. I do like the Trey Turner move.
Yeah, I think they overpaid for Taijuan Walker though.
Yeah, I think so too as well.
4 years, $72 million for a guy that's known to have an injury history. A guy that really hasn't done much until recently, and this was his best season this past year, and even the second half wasn't that great. He had a really good first half, but he kind of fell off in the second half, and he's getting paid basically ace money to be a middle of the rotation, back into the rotation guy, because if you look at the Phillies rotation, you're going to go Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and then Ranger Suarez before you even get to Taijuan Walker. So you're paying your number 4 starter basically number 1, number 2 money, which in my opinion is way too steep for what Walker brings to the table.
Right. And neither one of those guys are a closer. So are you still going to have to bring in Suarez to close out games for you and still be the starter, which is what I was kind of getting at with that as well. Question, man. The Boston Red Sox brought in that Japanese phenom, is it Yoshida, on that, 5-year, actually wound up being $105 million contract with some kind of transfer fee or something stupid like that. Either way, it averages out to about $21 million a year for him as an outfielder. He's about in his mid to late 20s. I mean, was that a good move for Boston? Being that they just let go of Bogarts, is that going to be good for them?
If this is not your typical Japanese outfielder that comes stateside. Like you had your Shohei and you had your Seiya Suzuki, who were known for home runs. They were known for just kind of their power numbers.
Right.
This guy is a high average hitter. He's like a 330 hitter. He had 88 walks and 40 strikeouts this past year, so he takes a lot of walks. I think he's similar to Ichiro and just the guy that just goes up there and puts the ball in play. He might have a little bit more power than what Ichiro had, but he certainly doesn't have the speed. But he's a left-handed hitter, and you've seen how small right field is at Fenway Park. So he could easily be a 25, 30 homer hitter just because you play with him playing at Fenway. All you have to do is hit the ball 320 feet, and that's out of the ballpark in right field in Fenway. So if he can become more of a line drive pull hitter, he'll have a decent year as long as he can keep that eye at the plate and continue to put the ball in play the way he did.
But what do you think about Boston as an overall team? I felt like the letting go of Xander to go to the Giants, it's like you're bringing in one, but you're letting go of one. So it's kind of like you fill one hole, but then you open up another hole. I still feel like the Sox have not really overall improved their team.
They really haven't at this point yet, just because they don't have any pitching.
They don't.
They had Nathan Eovaldi was basically the only pitcher they had last year because Chris Sale's a shell of what he used to be. came back from being injured, and then he gets injured 2 starts into his season, and I don't even know if he'll ever be the same. He might not even be able to be a starter anymore just because of all the arm issues he's had. They need to address pitching somehow, and they're not going to be.
They did actually address their closer. They brought in Kenley Benson, I believe from the Braves. Am I correct?
Yeah, but what good is
35 2-year deal at what? 32 mil. He had 41 saves last year.
What good is that going to do though if you don't have the starting pitchers that can give you the lead?
Oh no, I'll get it. Trust me. I'm just saying they addressed the back end of the lineup in terms of the rotation. They just didn't address the starting pitching or even the relievers. So I know what you do there.
The back end don't do no good if the front end can't.
Boston
is not true. Sometimes the back end can get you to the front end, but we won't. That's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But
wrong show, Jay. Wrong show.
Yeah, Boston is in on.
No, you're right. My bad. I was on a relationship show earlier, so I'm transitioning, but not really transitioning like that. But,
Jay's thinking about his OnlyFans account.
Hey, if I had an OnlyFans account, Jay might be a little richer or a little poorer, depending on how you look at it. But no, seriously, I agree with you. They have no front pitching. They have really not any middle. So and that's my point. It's great that they brought over Yoshida. He's got a great contract. But I think as an overall whole, this Boston has just been really super quiet, given all the pitchers that they have available. And they can still go after Rodon. Carlos Rodon is out there, so they can still kind of bring him in. But
yeah, the Yoshida move brings a little bit of an intrigue, though, because the Red Sox are one of 4 teams that are in the running for that Kodai Senga, that really good Japanese pitcher who's expected posted today or tomorrow. So you got to wonder if having Yoshida come over can help Boston land Kodai Senga, because now all of a sudden you get Kodai Senga, he immediately becomes the ace of that Red Sox staff. They can turn around and bring back Eovaldi, and then you at least have a solid 1-2 punch out of those two, and then they can maybe fill out the rest of the rotation with, I'm not going to say like mediocre pitching, but there's a lot of guys out there. There's like Drew Smiley out there. You have Wade Miley out there. You have a lot of pitchers that would be very good kind of back end of the rotation starters, but even those guys are better than what the Red Sox threw out there last year. So if they can get Senga to come to Boston to be their ace and then turn around and bring back Eovaldi, I think that gives them at least a nice starting point to be a lot more competitive this season than they were last year.
So let me ask you this: since we've been talking a little bit about pitching, man, you saw the Mets brought in Jose Quintana, the left-hander, about 33 years old, 2-year, pretty cheap deal, 2-year, 26 mil. How do you think he's going to fit in with that rotation of Verlander and Scherzer?
I think he is basically going to take over the Taijuan Walker spot. So you're looking at basically a number 4 or a number 5.
And they got him on a cheaper deal too.
Right now, I think the Mets have to figure out if they're going to bring back Chris Bassett or not, because Chris Bassett was their number 3 last year, and at times when Jacob deGrom was there, Chris Bassett was pitching like an ace at times last year. So the Mets could theoretically have 3 ace caliber pitchers at the top of their rotation if he comes back. Then you have Quintana, and then once you get to your number 5, you got 4 or 5 guys that you could use that if they wanted to just kind of flip-flop and play matchups, they could. But the thing with Quintana is, and this is coming from a Cubs fan who's seen the best of Quintana and the worst of Quintana, you never know what Jose Quintana you're going to get. You could get the one that goes out and strikes out 12 men in 7 innings and gives up 1 hit, or you could get the guy that can't even get out of the first inning because he can't throw strikes. I think that's part of the reason why his contract is what it is, just because you don't know what Jose Quintana you're going to get.
I'm curious. So they got Scherzer, they got Verlander, 2 incredibly talented pitchers, but also 2 older pitchers and 2 pitchers that have seen time been on the injury list. And even Verlander last year, you saw that last year, he had to kind of take some time off for a hot minute due to injury as they got towards the end of the season, right before the end of the season, actually. How do you see this Mets, the beginning of this Mets rotation? Their 2 biggest pitchers, as old as they are, but as good as they are, can they last?
I think they can last for 1 year. I don't think they can last more than that, especially Verlander, because he's 30. He's gonna be 39 next year, going on 40.
No, he'll be 40 next year. He's already 39.
Okay, so he'll be 40 next year. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because by the time the season starts, he'll be 40.
yeah, you cannot expect him to pitch the level he pitched at last year much longer. And I don't care if he is the defending Cy Young winner. I don't care if he put up the season that he had this year. Paying $43 million a year for a 40-year-old pitcher is freaking asinine. I don't care how good of a pitcher you are. That kind of for 2 years and that kind of age is just stupid.
So I think they got like a 1 or 2 year window with Scherzer and Verlander to try to go deep and maybe win a World Series or something. Because, like you said, Verlander maybe two more seasons at the most.
But see, and Roger Pettit, though, brings up an interesting point about Verlander. And here's the thing, Roger. I get what you're saying. If they limit his play, they can stretch him out. The problem with that is Verlander's not going to allow that to happen. Dusty Baker had even suggested to Verlander, hey, instead of every 4 days, let's go every 5, every 6. And Verlander's like, hell no. No, I don't want to pitch on anything more than 4 days rest. Verlander specifically only wants 4 days of rest in between his starts. So the thought process, and it's a good thought process on your part, because that's what I would think too. If I limit the number of times he pitches, then I can have him more available or fresher in the postseason. The problem with this, Verlander doesn't want to. And specifically, if you look at Verlander, it's true. When they had those breaks, right? If you look at the Astros World Season run this year, if you look at the times in between when one series would end and the next series would start, there was a long gap in between. And who started off those series? Verlander. And how well did Verlander pitch? Not bad, but not Verlander quality either.
It gave up 6 runs in one of those games.
Exactly. And that's my point. But when you look at Verlander in the mix, in a season where he's pitching every 4 days, what was he doing? Cy Young.
Yeah.
That's why you guys do you think 6 days of rest and think you're going to get that same Verlander? That's not how it works for him.
Do you think signing Verlander instead of re-signing DeGrom was a good move?
I don't. I think they should. Again, actually, I think they should have stayed with DeGrom. He's cheaper and he's still a damn good ass pitcher.
Well, here's the question.
Honestly, though, you know who I think lost in that? And I think if you have to, DeGrom doesn't realize it now, but DeGrom really hurt himself. He's not going to get a World Series championship ring with the Rangers. He's too damn old, and they're too far away. So that was all about, honestly, for DeGrom. I guess it was about money. The only thing I can think of why he would go to the Rangers is if the Mets weren't going to give him enough money. But the Mets was the best opportunity for DeGrom to ever get a ring. And when he went to the Rangers, he just gave all that up.
Not necessarily, and I'm gonna say why in a second here, but we gotta
pull out some magical dust if we think the Rangers are going to the World Series, Justin.
We have to consider who their manager is, though. Bruce Bochy is their manager, a guy that won 3 World Series in 5 years with the San Francisco Giants.
Well, is he gonna get out there on the mound and pitch?
He knows that
he's gonna get the whole plate and hit. Who the hell do they got, Dustin?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
They got
last place.
They got Jacob deGrom now as a starter. They did not have any ace last year. Jacob deGrom is immediately taking over that ace spot. They have Jack Leiter, who they drafted, who's probably going to be up at some point this year, most likely being the number 2 starter next year. They're in the running yet for Carlos Rodon. You add him to that rotation. You put him at the top of that rotation with deGrom. They have Martin Perez still in that rotation, and then they have John Gray, who is not a bad number 5.
Let me ask you a question about Rodon. Hey, let's go back to the Rodon. Let's just look at the Rodon thing for a second. How good do you think Rodon's been over his career? I can think of 2 seasons that he's had that were good seasons. The rest of his career, I'm not sold on.
I mean, yeah, he's been healthy finally. And that's basically why he's finally looking like the pitcher the White Sox thought he was going to be. Because when he came up back, I think it was 2013 or 2014 was when he was a rookie. When he came up, he was viewed as a top 10 prospect. in Major League Baseball. He was
Hold
viewed.
on, let's go back for a minute. You said health. So let's think about this for a minute. Because health is a very big, important thing in baseball. What has been one of DeGrom's issues? Health. Which, again, is because of DeGrom's age and things of that
No,
nature.
it's actually not because of his age.
Well, it is part age.
It's because of how
usage.
It's because of how he pitches.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He pitches
age and usage. Well, usage being the way that he. You're right. That's what I'm. Well, either way, regardless of whatever it is, DeGrom, stays on the injury report.
Yeah.
So does Rodon. My point is, we're basing these teams off of guys who are on injury reports. I don't like that. That doesn't give me a good, warm, fuzzy feeling when I'm trying to get back to the World Series and I'm scared every time they go to the damn mound. I'm sorry. That does not make me feel good, especially when I'm giving $37 million a year to a guy who may or may not be able to make it to the damn mound. That does not give me a warm fuzzy. Gonzo, does it give you a warm fuzzy?
The thing with DeGrom, though, too, is
Gonzo hasn't had a good, warm, fuzzy feeling since Pete Rose left the Reds, okay?
We have to wonder if the Mets even wanted Jacob DeGrom back. Because why else would they not try to at least give him something similar to that? Because there was reports coming out at the end of the year that the Mets were not happy with Jacob DeGrom for some things. They didn't really get into detail about what those things were, but a lot of reports out of New York said there was things going on in the clubhouse that the Mets were not happy with DeGrom about. So you have to wonder if the Mets even wanted him back, because if he really wanted to stay in New York, I'm pretty sure if the Mets would have given him a competitive offer, he would have stayed. Even if it was less money than what Texas gave him, as long as it was reasonable. Let's just say 5 at 75 or 5 at 175 as opposed to the 5 at 185 that he got in Texas. He probably stays in New York if they give him something competitive. So we got to even wonder if New York even wanted him back.
I don't think they did because to me it's almost. I mean, you got rid of DeGrom and picked up Verlander, so to me it was like they didn't want DeGrom for.
And look at the difference in money too. Verlander's getting $46 or $43 million a year. DeGrom's getting $37 million a year. The Mets. So obviously the Mets were willing to give a pitcher more than $40 million. So
obviously, because they clearly did it.
That's what I'm saying. So if they really wanted Jacob DeGrom back, I'm pretty sure they would have given him 40.
And let's be honest, though, but what is Scherzer getting, and what did DeGrom get before he left? Because correct me if I'm wrong, DeGrom was in the $40 million a year before he left to go to the Rangers, wasn't he? Did he just go off of 25 million?
I think he was at like 28 or 29.
Was he? Well, what was Scherzer at?
Scherzer was at 38.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure one of them was at 45. And I bet I can research and get that.
Scherzer might be at 40. He may have been. Yeah, Max Scherzer's at 41. So he was the highest.
That's wrong. I knew one of them, because I knew specifically I saw, because I was even saying that Verlander was going to base his contract off of the DeGrom and Scherzer contract, which I had in my mind and I'd seen. One of them was in the 40 mil.
Yeah, Scherzer's at 41. So he was the highest paid pitcher annually up until DeGrom got his contract this year.
Let me ask you this, man. Can we switch over to the Padres for a sec?
I was getting ready to ask about the Padres as well.
I don't know about you. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but honestly, I think for the Padres' sake, I'm glad they did not get Judge. I felt like the money that they were about to give him was only going to basically handcuff where they could go in the future signings. And I think that them not getting that opens them up. If they need to do other things, they can do other things. I mean, how do you guys – because they are getting Tatis back this year. So they're going to – now, I felt like – and I don't know how you guys felt like, but I felt like they should have re-signed Bell. They let Bell go over to the Guardians. What are you guys looking at the Padres now? Because I feel like when I look at the Padres, if you say, hey, were the Padres a winner and loser in this thing? I don't think they won, and I don't think they lost. I think they won and lost. I think they won because they didn't handicap themselves financially with Judge, but I felt like they lost because they haven't really truly upgraded with anything else.
Yeah, well, they did actually upgrade.
Bogart.
It's Xander Bogaerts.
Okay, that's true. They did bring – you're right. I apologize.
I'm going to say
right in my notes. Bogart.
Right now is a hot take. That Xander Bogaerts contract is going to go down as the worst contract in Major League Baseball history.
I know he got what 200 and something mil. I didn't catch the number of years though.
280 million for 11 years, and the guy's going to be 31 years old this year. He's going to be 42 years old when that contract ends.
So was that really a good upgrade for them at the price point?
No, because you already have Fernando Tatis making $300 million, a shortstop. You already have Manny Machado making $190 million, a third baseman.
I thought Tatis was a shortstop, but I wasn't 100% on that until you just said that right now. So why would they bring another shortstop when you already have a shortstop?
They want to move that much money. Tatis to center field, which it is what it is. But you already have two players on your roster making $30 million a year. Now you're bringing in another guy making $27.5 million a year, and he's older than both of these guys. You're going to be paying this guy until he's 42 years old.
So did the Padres necessarily improve themselves enough to compete with the Mets or Phillies to get to the World Series? So let's be honest. If you look at what the Dodgers right now, the Dodgers are getting wholesaled right now. People are leaving Dodgers as fast as they can get in. So the way I look at the Dodgers now is the Dodgers are almost not even a thought or a concern in my book anymore. Now I'm looking at Mets, I'm looking at Phillies, and possibly the Padres. I mean, are y'all looking at the three teams in the NL, or is there another team in there that we can be adding or subtracting?
Don't you think it would have made more sense for the Padres to give that amount of money to Judge than Bogarts?
Yeah.
If you were going to go all in on a player, why not give Judge the money, get Judge there? I think that would have been a better fit for the Padres than what Bogarts is.
I think the Bogarts signing makes the Padres good in the short term, at least for the next, I'd say, the next 5 years. That contract's really going to help the Padres out. It's when Bogarts gets to be 36 years old, when Machado gets to be 34 years old, and when Tatis is hitting in his 30s, when that contract's going to start to look bad, because then you're going to have to figure out how are we going to pay these three guys $150 million a year when they're all approaching 40. Because every single one of these guys outside of Manny Machado is going to be 40 years old when their contracts end. Bogarts will be 42. Tatis will be, I think, 38 or 39 when his contract ends, and Machado's going to be 35.
Hey, real quick, Frankie, put that comment up by Frankie again. Frankie, if that really is a truth, and I'm sure it is, hey, I'm sure he probably did do that. But I hope that Judge is listening, or somehow or other this podcast makes it to Judge's ears at some level. Judge, the first thing in contract negotiations, you never let a person know you want to be there. You make them earn that money. You probably could have got $400 million from the damn Yankees had you played the cards right. No offense, but when people say all rise financially, Judge, sit your ass over in the corner because you just gave up $40 million.
Yeah, but he got 360 more.
and whoever Judge's agent is, shame on you. You should have advised your client better.
What they offer him at the beginning of the year? Two something?
Yeah. Oh, it was below 300, no doubt about it.
I think it was seven at 216. I think is what they offered him at the beginning of the year.
I'm just telling you right now. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but if I was a neurosurgeon and I went to school for umpty thousand decades and I finally got my first hand at a knife operating on somebody, and they came to me and, oh, sir, by the way, your annual salary is only going to be $300,000, and then some asshole's getting $400 million, and he's only been playing in baseball for 2 or 3 years. What a time to be alive. I'm just saying, maybe you should have had a different career choice.
Jay's been on one today.
But it's true. It just cracks me up, man. I mean, when we talk about – because some people were asking – I saw earlier a comment on Facebook, and I maybe it was Jonathan Mathis that put up a Facebook comment that said, do you think we pay these athletes too much money? And some people were saying no, it's market value. And I agree with it. Market speaks. Entertainment world pays everything, right? But let me ask you a damn question, Gonzo. If you're lying on the street and you need somebody to save your fucking life, who do you want? You want Aaron Judge, or you want that son of a bitch that went to medical school? Who's more important to you? I'm just saying. I'm just gonna put that out there. $400 million for a man that can't even put on a Band-Aid. I'm just saying, it is what it is. But no, I tell you, man, hey, there's a lot of good signs. There's still a lot of good players out there. Matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Stan.
Here's the way I look at it, Jay. There's a lot of people that's overpaid, and when there's any athlete making that much money, and we have veterans sleeping under bridges.
Oh, you know how I feel about that.
There's a problem.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I probably would have a different take on an athlete getting hundreds of millions if that same athlete was going down, like you said, to some of these homeless shelters, some of these VA places, and visiting with veterans who've lost limbs, things like that. If they were giving back to those, types of organizations and really putting an effort into that, you know what? Hey, okay, man, damn. But I think it's a society, and it's not just athletes. It's everybody. We really got to do a better job of taking care of those who have taken care of us. And I don't think we do a good enough job of that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have more money than we ever really will need in any number of lifetimes. I mean, think about it. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm Aaron Judge and I'm getting $360 million, I mean, I don't know how much a man needs to live on, but I'm pretty sure $360 million, I could do 300 lifetimes, or even maybe make a really big, significant impact on people, who have less and need something that went out there for our country that maybe the VA, can't give them the right percentage to help them or whatever. Give back, man. Give back. That's all I'm saying. Give back. Fuck. Give back. Yeah, no. Hey, am I mad because our guys are making the moves? Not really, because I'm going to trust the process. I mean, we do have, I don't know, go back 2015 of several competitive years. I'm used
to the Reds not making no moves during this time. So I don't.
Hey, speaking of the Reds, I'm surprised that the Reds haven't made a move. Are you? On anything? I don't know.
Do they have to spend?
What'd you say?
I said, what money do they have to spend? They have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. They really can't.
Yeah, they never make moves around this time of year, Harley J. Yeah.
But, I really thought, and I thought about, and I told Frankie last night.
The only move they make, and this is what I've heard rumors of, is there been a lot of trade talks about a lot of our prospects. So I'm hoping they don't trade them all away again. But, yeah, if we can make any free agency moves, it's toward the end and we get lower level guys. Now, I have heard the Reds are trying to get Johnny Cueto back.
But do they really need Johnny Cueto? I mean, is that really going to – I think at this time, I think what the Reds really got to do, and I've said this to you before. I mean, look what the Astros did. Okay, I'm just using them as an example, but they got rid of everybody. And they basically were the Cincinnati Reds. Matter of fact, they were probably worse than the Cincinnati Reds because if you remember, there was a time when the Astros were three seasons straight of 100, game losses. Yep. But I think if you guys could basically somehow duplicate that process in picks and then grow up your farm system, and then bring up your farm system. But again, like you said earlier, I think in a previous show, Gonzo, where you were saying like we are doing that, but every time we do that, they get rid of them. So maybe upper level management needs to stop getting rid of these sons of bitches and start keeping them and grow.
Well, that's the problem. It's like we get prospects and they start doing something and then we get rid of them.
Yeah. I think at some point you have to actually,
That's why I want new ownership. Yeah. Roger, are the Reds still in the MLB?
Oh, that's wrong. That's messed up. I mean, true. It's true. But it's messed up. Well, okay, and think about it like this. Look at the Marlins. If you go over there and look, you said, you're lucky I'm not in here. I felt nobody was putting Jay in his right place. No, Frankie, go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner, Frankie. Go sit in the corner. We'll talk about this later. Me and you will have a private discussion. Hold on.
Stat guy, are you surprised the Cubs haven't been more active?
Yes and no. I mean, they went after Cody Bellinger, which I'm actually very excited to see how that turns out just because it's a 1-year prove-it deal, basically, where if he continues to struggle, they're really not on the hook for anything beyond this year. They took a shot on him. It didn't work out, so be it. But if he gets anywhere close to his MVP form from 2019, the Cubs got a steal in Cody Bellinger, and then they have an opportunity to extend him beyond this year if they want to, because he's still only 27 years old. He still could play a role on this team in some capacity. Adding Jameson Taillon, I'm not surprised either, because they did say they were going to be in the market for one, if not two, starting pitchers. I was a little surprised to see Taillon get 4 years. I thought he might only get 3. But when you look at the deal that Taijuan Walker got, the deal that Taillon gets with Chicago was actually a bargain. And Taillon had a better year than what Taijuan Walker had. He was 14-5. So, I mean, I can't be a little bit upset with that. I think the biggest thing right now is Cubs have made it perfectly clear that they wanted a shortstop. Well, we knew they weren't going to give anybody 11 years and $300 million like Trey Turner. And I don't think they would have given Bogarts what he got in San Diego. I think the Cubs would have been comfortable giving Bogarts 6 years, maybe 7 years, not the 11 that he's getting. You keep hearing talks about Carlos Correa, and you keep hearing talks about Dansby Swanson going to the Cubs. With Aaron Judge now out of the picture for the Giants, I expect Carlos Correa to land in San Francisco, because that's going to be the big prize free agent that they go after now that they can't get Judge. And I think that ends up making Dansby Swanson basically kind of, I'm not going to say a last resort, but it kind of ends up falling in the Cubs' lap, because he'd be the cheapest of the 4 shortstops. He'd be the one they can get for 6 or 7 years instead of these long 10-year deals that everybody else is looking for. And he's a guy that you could move to second base if needed, just because they have Nico Horner also in the middle of that infield, so you could kind of play with that middle of the infield a little bit.
Yeah. And let me ask you again. The Marlins have probably one of the youngest, pretty good rotations out there, but yet the Marlins did nothing to build a team around them in any kind of signing, and that's why I'm putting them in my loser category during this after the winter meetings trade or free agent signing period. I got them as losers because I felt like, how do you have a good young rotation, but you're not giving them anything in return in order to build around them? What do you think about that? How do you feel about the Marlins not doing anything?
Because it's the Marlins. I mean, look what happened the last 2 times they won the World Series. They blew up the entire roster the year after they won the World Series, because they knew they weren't going to be able to afford any of those pieces beyond that year. That's how the Marlins have been. They make the playoffs once, and then they go down the crapper for the next 10 years because they know they can't afford anybody.
Which is really weird for a team that's in Miami, one of the biggest markets in the U.S., and they can't afford it?
Because
that's crazy to me.
It's not a baseball town. Same thing with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at least has a good franchise because they're consistently in the playoff hunt. But Tampa Bay and Miami are not baseball markets, which is surprising because they're in Florida. Granted, Tampa Bay Stadium doesn't do them any favors because Tropicana Field needs to just be blown up and torn down because that stadium is so horrible. But Marlins Ballpark in Miami is a very nice ballpark. You had Derek Jeter as the president of that team for, I think, 3 years, maybe 4 years before he stepped away last year. I don't know how Derek Jeter didn't really change that team around. If anything, he helped get some of those good pitchers into Miami, but he still wasn't able to turn that franchise around, and I don't know what will, just because for whatever reason the Miami Marlins are not an attractive franchise for these free agents.
All right, Frankie C.
You would think Miami would be a more attractive spot for free agents, but
I guess if you're football or basketball, which seems to be that type of but it doesn't make sense because Miami has such a big Latin-based community. And where do we get most of our players nowadays from?
And
Latin-based country.
There's no state taxes in Florida either, which is why I'm surprised you don't see like a Carlos Correa type of player want to go to Miami because you don't have the state taxes. So they would end up getting more of that money than going anywhere else because of the taxes difference.
No, I get it. Roger, to answer that question, is it sustainable for baseball? Well, hell, it's sustainable for football. It's sustainable for basketball. But I do see your point with baseball because baseball truly does not get the crowds or the fan support like those other two sports get.
Baseball does a poor job of marketing itself.
They do, man. They do a terrible job of marketing. Bring Frankie in here. I know he's ready to get in here.
I'm already in here, you stupid idiot.
Oh no, sir. No, sir. We're not calling names today.
Calling names.
We're not calling names today. You can come in here when you can be nice.
Suck
Now,
my
let's try
left,
it again. Frankie,
suck
let's
my
try it
left
again.
nipple.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
on the left nipple.
Hold on. I'm
No,
sorry.
I was
Is
on the
this-
left nipple. It's chafing. I went to the right.
I'm sorry, Jay. Is this your show or is this Chris and Stats Guy's show? All
I'm
right,
sorry.
thank you. So don't have the right to take people out. Just sit there in your corner and be a good boy and be an analyst. Thank you, sir. Sip on your straw. What man drinks with a straw?
Let's go, Frankie.
How you guys-
I know
how you guys
you were
doing
at the same
today?
thing.
How's everybody doing today on this lovely Thursday morning?
Good.
You know,
Not doing bad.
You
Had to
know
get up
how I-
early, but
That's great. That's great. Jay, how
I know
you
you're
feeling?
doing good, aren't you? Frankie?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing really wonderful. It's nothing I can complain about, but I just want to ask Jay how's he feeling. I mean, we still haven't heard any updates on the Astro players getting picked up.
Yeah,
or anything like that.
and you know, and I think I told you last night how I felt about that. I'm upset, right? I'm upset because I feel like the Astros aren't moving quick enough to get the pieces we need. I don't think it takes a lot to figure out. Benintendi is a good fit for left field. And why have we why have we gone after this guy? Why are we dragging our feet to bring him over? That's number one. Number two, I feel like at first I really was pissed off that we didn't really make a harder move on Contreras. But then the more I dived into Contreras, I realized he does have a strong arm. He's a halfway decent bat, but he's not a good enough game caller. I think what we have in Vasquez in terms of game calling, because he was part of two different no-hitters. One was against you guys, and the other was in the World Series against the Phillies. So I feel like bring back Vasquez. Why are we not, already got this guy in a contract, cemented, ready to go? If you're a part of two no-hitters, I think you give him $100 million, because I think Vasquez, or correct me if I'm wrong, Contreras got $86 million.
Yeah.
And the year, or he got 87.5 on a 5-year deal. I think you give Vasquez a 4-year, $90 million deal, and let's just get this done. Because honestly, you're nothing without your catcher. I don't give a damn what anybody says.
Well, the thing with
Hold on. If you don't have a good game manager out there calling the game for your pitcher and keeping him straight, that really is one of the biggest damn positions in baseball. So give Vasquez 5-year, $90 million. And Stat Guy, I'm gonna come to you, Stat Guy, because I see you shaking your head. But again, Maldonado's not gonna last forever. I'm okay with giving Vasquez because Vasquez got us where we got. What's your thought process? I see you shaking your head on that one.
I'm okay with giving Vasquez a 5-year deal, but not $90 million.
Well, what would you be giving him?
About 60. Because if you look at what he's projected to get, he's projected to land a contract somewhere between $10 and $12 million a year.
But do you think? But do you think Contreras is better than Vasquez?
When you look at offense, yes, because the three best offensive catchers are Contreras, JT Realmuto, and Sean Murphy.
Okay, and where are the Phillies again?
Phillies are in the National League, and they were in the World Series last year.
And did they win?
They did not win.
Okay, what are you talking about? Because last time I checked, Vasquez didn't even give up a damn run to the Phillies.
Oh, I get it. But
Jay, hold on.
Last time I checked, the Astros got plenty of fucking offense. What we don't have is good game management. And game management can limit the runs so the offense doesn't have to score as many.
Well, that's the thing. When you look at when you look at catchers in baseball, there's very few offensively minded catchers. So when you have an offensive minded catcher like Wilson Contreras, you're willing to spend more than probably what he's worth. I don't think he's worth what the Cardinals gave him, but he's one of the better offensive catchers in baseball. So
on that theory, but on your theory, so if I'm able to get a couple of base hits, maybe I contribute 2 RBIs every now and then in a game, but my game management or my game calling allows the pitcher to put bad pitches, and I give up 6. What do those 2 that you just thought you got me matter?
I like Vasquez more than I like Contreras. I was hoping the Cubs would make a run at Vasquez, and who knows, they still might.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but managers and GMs don't think like that. They want.
I'm okay with giving a guy money if
I
I
still
feel
think
like
old school baseball where they want offensive catchers.
offense, and that's why I can.
right. I just think sometimes I feel like sometimes we pay a guy money when he doesn't fully deserve it, and then the guys who fully deserve it, we don't pay him shit.
Yeah,
no offense to Aaron. Hey, watch it. No offense to Judge. 62 home runs is fucking amazing. Yeah. And damn near getting 2 out of the 3 categories for the Triple Crown is amazing. But when I see the Astros have your number and you really don't matter too much to us, I really don't give a damn if you get 300 million or 400 million because it's still not going to give you a World Series. So, but that's what I'm saying. But then I look at a guy like Alvarez, right, who gives you home runs every damn time. I can't tell you how many games the Astros won throughout the playoffs and the World Series that was strictly designated to Alvarez. Matter of fact, the one, like I said, the one that went 450, the one that really should have gone out the park and about 5 alleys down, that one was freaking huge. And we all know that was huge. But I've never seen Aaron Judge in the biggest of the limelight do that. I'm sorry, I haven't seen him do that.
He did that twice against you guys.
That's why I feel like Alvarez, when it does come time to give him a contract, it's going to come a time when the Astros got to give Alvarez a contract. That's a guy I don't mind giving $300 million to.
I'm sorry. Hold on, Jay. Twice in this season.
And I know I was going to spark Frankie on that.
Yeah, because you make no sense. Twice in the season.
I make no sense. I just gave you reasons.
Oh, my fucking God. Here we go.
No. Don't use the F word and Jesus and God in the same sentence. But okay.
Let's do that all I want.
What Frankie has to say.
Fucking God.
I mean, hey, look, that's between you and the Lord. You're going to have to answer to that one. But that's okay. Go ahead.
So you're going to go ahead and sit there and say that Judge has never done something like that. When he played you guys, I believe we played you 6 times this year. Yes, we won twice out of those 6 games this year. But
yeah,
on those two, or okay, whatever, 2 out of, yeah. So out of those 2 games,
what happened to the 4? What happened to the 4?
Shut your
What
mouth.
happened to the 4? We got 8 out of 10.
Shut your mouth.
So 8 out of 10.
Hey, Jay, let him
We
finish.
beat you 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I beat the Yankees 8 out of
Jay,
10.
let him finish.
8 out of 10. I mean,
in those two games that we played,
we
were. Oh my God! Are you done?
8.
Are you done?
10. I don't know. Hold on. I'm done. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a mathematician, but 8 out of 10. What is that? How good is that? Is that like 80%
I'm the only one
of the
that can
time
join on a podcast with Jay because I can take his shit every time he overtalks somebody. I don't care what he says. I can just overtalk him as well. But other people can't handle Jay, and this is why I had to come on here to shut Jay up. So out of those 2 wins that we got out of you, we were down by 3 points. Can you remind me and name me the person again who hit the home runs to seal the winning games? Who was it?
It might have been Judge. It might have been Judge.
It was Judge.
And I'm okay. Hey, I'm okay giving you 2 because I took 8. I'm okay. Look, I give you 2. I'll take 8. Last time I checked, I kicked your ass 4 times over. Because I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Alvarez.
Jay, you're the only.
You like how I rhymed that
Alvarez
shit? You like how I rhymed that? 4 times. 4 times I took you.
Oh,
shit. Wait, oh, no, hell no. You know what? Put his ass in timeout. No, hell no. No. Oh, I'm not starring your ass. How do I feel it? Hey, hold on. Hey, how do I block Damien? You know what? I'm tired of this bullshit. No, look, I'm not a mathematician. I suck at math. I just know when I beat you 4 times over, nobody cares about those 2 times I gave you. Sometimes I give out some charity.
I'm not saying anything about that. What I'm saying is you're talking real low on Judge. I'm saying he don't deserve that because of he hasn't been able to beat the Astros and win a championship. Yet those 2 games that we won, Aaron Judge hit the game-winning home runs while being down by 3.
Look, again, I'm not saying that Aaron Judge.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I started out saying
yes, you are.
No,
yes, you are.
I started this conversation out giving props. I even gave evidence. I said he hit 62
No,
home
you
runs.
didn't.
No, I did.
Comments, and you didn't give Aaron Judge no props. Oh, that wasn't a good deal. I would have took the $400 million.
What I said was, hey, you got 62 home runs. You got 2 out of the 3 categories. You said all rise, and the Astros said all sit down. And we took the championship, what, 4 games to none.
And
so
yet
what
we were still
what are we
rising,
talking about?
Jay.
Hey, listen,
We were
all I
still
know
rising.
is they stay sitting down.
But the thing is, Jay, you can't just because they didn't win a World Series don't mean Judge don't deserve to get paid.
I'm not saying the man don't deserve to get paid. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes we pay a man too much. Sometimes we pay a man
not
too much.
He got 360,
Jay,
the same amount of money that the San Francisco Giants were going to give him, and yet you over here saying he should have got $400 million.
Jay,
At this time, I'm just saying some things to keep you really pissed off.
Jay, if you're saying that Aaron Judge got too much, what about Mike?
What I'm saying is sometimes we pay people. Okay, watch this. Like I said to you earlier, I understand Alvarez didn't get the Triple Crown. I get that.
What about Mike?
And I'm not even saying that Alvarez got 62 home runs. What I'm saying is that Alvarez, every damn time, that dude comes up with countless home runs.
But that's only if he's not getting paid right, that's
Aaron Judge has been known to disappear in key pivotal moments. And if you don't think so, I want each and every one of you to go back and revisit all the games that the Astros played. Hold on. And I want you to count the number of times during the Astros-Yankees series, that Aaron Judge struck out versus got the big home run. And then I want you to weigh those numbers in. And then I want you to get back to me. Because I think if you do that, you're going to have a different tone of voice.
Well, what I'm saying is if Alvarez...
I watched every one of those damn games.
If
and every time Aaron Judge struck out, I was clapping my ass off.
If you think Alvarez...
All sit down.
Hey, if you think Alvarez is overpaid, that's on the Astros for being cheap.
No,
that's not Aaron Judge's fault.
I didn't say he was overpaid. If anything, I think right now Alvarez is underpaid.
That's what I'm saying. If you think Alvarez is underpaid, that's on the Astros for being cheap.
No. They're going to correct that. I promise.
So you're going to
contract. They're going to rectify that. I'm just saying.
Jay,
all I'm saying is that there's people I think that get the Quan.
So you're
but
saying
always deserve
you're saying is
look at
you
him,
think
he
Alvarez
does
should be
a
making
high pace rate.
So you think Alvarez should be getting paid more than Judge is what you're saying?
I think it should be damn near equal. Yeah, I do. Because I'll tell you right now, you know how you beat Judge? Throw him low. Throw him low, watch him chase, and watch him strike out. And if you don't believe me, even Stat Guy, if Stat Guy's worked his weight, and if Stat Guy has watched Aaron Judge at bats, even Stat Guy will tell you, how do you beat Aaron Judge? You throw him low. You give him
and
stick,
if you ask
that
guy, which I know he will tell you the right answer. Hey, Stat Guy, has Aaron Judge's chase rate went down?
Yes, his chase rate went down. His His chase rate went down from 31.4% to 26.7%. His walk rate went from 15% up to 18%.
Well, fucking do. Fucking do.
So Jay, you're gonna sit there. Hold on, Jay. You're gonna sit there and say Alvarez hits countless numbers of home runs and he doesn't disappear. Do not sit there and say he does not disappear. He hit a home run on the Seattle Mariners, and where was he when he had to play the Yankees? He didn't hit a home run against the Yankees. Did he?
Did he have to hit okay. So by Frankie logic, I gotta hit a home run to matter. No. By Frankie's logic, I gotta hit a home run to matter. So Frankie doesn't look at contact. He only looks at home runs. Oh, you're so one-dimensional. You're what's wrong with baseball. Everything that's baseball good for, you're wrong.
Network knows you're one-dimensional. Everyone in the world knows you're dimensional. They see your goddamn freaking post on Facebook. Everyone knows you're dimensional. All right? So don't sit there and say Judge disappears and Alvarez is a countless home run hitter when that motherfucker, excuse my language, it disappears also. Just like Jose Altuve.
Every other word. How do I skip every other word? If I listen to your comments, I gotta excuse every other word.
You went from Jose Altuve fan to Yordan Alvarez fan, now to a Jeremy Pena fan. Those two people that you were following before disappear.
You sent him the link. I just want you to know, Gonzo, you sent him the link. Hey, look, I told you if you bring Frankie in here. Let me tell you something. The funny thing about it is Frankie knows I love him and Frankie loves me. I'm actually the uncle to his children who are very beautiful kids. But you brought him in here, so you knew that we were going to go at it. Yankees and Astros, and think that things are going to be okay. I'm just saying.
Hey, can I ask you this question then? You're saying that You're saying that kind of Aaron Judge shouldn't be paid what he's paying because he disappears in some moments or whatever. Do you think Mike Trout is overpaid then because he hasn't made the playoffs?
Oh, and that's not even a bad comparison. That's not even a
question.
I'm not going to answer that because it's the freaking Angels, and I think that's a stupid thing to ask. I'm sorry, no offense, that guy. I love you, and you know I love you, and I've said you are the whopper computer when it comes to stats. But you can't ask that question. That's not even a fair stat guy. That's not even a fair question to ask me. Give me a fair question, and we'll go from there.
That is a fair question because
it's not a fair question. Stat guy is not fair. And if it is fair, I want you to explain why it's fair.
Because Mike Trout was the highest paid baseball player until Aaron Judge got this contract.
But again, why is it fair? I'm going to tell you why it's not fair. You're not giving me parameters. You're going to make an open statement like that, but you're not giving me parameters. I'm going to give you parameters of why what you just said to me is not fair. Time out now. I gave you the opportunity, and you fucked the booth.
Done yet?
You're asking him.
So
You're asking him to give you something. He's going to give it to you.
Okay, hold on. You got to go to timeout because you're being a bad boy. You're being a bad boy right now. You got to go to timeout. I'm going to tell you why your parameters aren't fair. Your parameters aren't fair because you're giving me a team that doesn't have the components built around Trout to go somewhere.
They do.
One man, no. If this was tennis and if it was boxing, one man could do it, no doubt about it. But this is a collective team sport still. So when I look at the Yankees and I look at what the Yankees have formulated, and we all know the Yankees have a good squad. Frankie, and the Yankees got a great squad. No doubt about it. You guys got a damn good squad. You got Garrett Cole. You got a pitcher that you do need reliever help. But by majority, the Yankees have a squad. So Aaron Judge, whether he produces or doesn't produce, can still go somewhere. Whether Trout comes on there and produces or doesn't produce, it means everything as to even if they win one game or two games. So it's not a fair comparison to even say that to me or to say what Judge is going through or what he's getting paid should be the same as what Trout is or what he's getting paid. That's not a fair comparison. And the fact that you put me in that position, shame on you.
Look at the Angels roster. Look at the Angels roster. They have Shohei, and perennial MVP candidate every single year with Mike Trout. They have Anthony Rendon, who was an MVP.
Oh, hold on a minute. Roger Predit just backed me up on that. They paid Trout, but they brought nobody to help him.
Really?
That's going to further Thank you.
Shohei Ohtani is help. Anthony Rendon is help. Hunter Renfroe is help. Max Stassi is help. They brought in more pitching in that organization. It's not Mike Trout's fault that all these people have gotten hurt. Mike Trout has also been hurt. He has missed more games the last 3 years than he has played.
If I'm not mistaken, he had a career injury this year, and yet still can't play.
Yeah, if he would not have gotten hurt this year, Mike Trout and Aaron Judge would have been going at it for the home run crown.
Nobody gives a damn about a home run. Why do we say that shit? Why do we even care about
we don't care about it. We don't care about it now. Yeah, he be sucking.
No. Frankie, put it in perspective. Honestly, okay, watch this. Chris, if the Reds had a chance at a World Series or home run crown, what are you taking?
Oh my God, that's not even the same. That's not even the same.
Chris?
That's not even the same.
That's not even the same, though. Chris? That's not. You said the question earlier wasn't fair. That's not a fair question.
It is a fair question. What I'm saying is, the reason why I'm saying that is they put so much weight on a crown of home runs. I don't care about a crown of home runs. I care about, can you get me to the World Series? And can you win me a World Series? But we put so much weight on stuff that has no fucking matter.
So you're saying because Judge hits home runs, he can't take a team to the World Series.
I'm saying that look, okay, that's fine. That's a fair question. Last time I checked, his ability to go for the home run versus contact cost him the Triple Crown. What's more important, a Triple Crown or a home run record? Let me think about that for a minute. A Triple Crown means I'm getting RBIs, home runs.
Whoa. Your logic.
And a home run record.
Crown don't mean nothing if you don't win a World Series.
Sacrifice. What did my team have to sacrifice in number of on-base percentage points because I was going for the home run rather than my average. Because
Wait
your
a minute,
average.
Jay.
You know why that Aaron Judge did it?
You guys put weight on some stupid
Wait a minute. You can't sit here and say the home run crown don't matter, and then try to say the Triple Crown matters over a
The
World
Triple Crown absolutely matters. RBIs.
Jay, do you know
No,
why?
wait a minute. You're saying that the home runs don't matter unless you win a World Series.
I get
So
what
the
you're
Triple
saying.
Crown
I
can't
get what
matter
you're
unless
saying.
you win a World Series.
Time out now. Because here's the deal.
You don't like it. You don't like it when people overtalk him.
He was going. Don't get confused. Home run record and Triple Crown. Judge was already winning the Triple Crown. He'd already had more home runs than anybody. Yeah, and I'm not saying the Triple Crown really matters. What really matters, hold on, the only stat that truly matters is on base percentage. Anybody want to disagree with that shit? Because I'll fucking destroy all you motherfuckers if you want to tell me on base percentage.
What I'm saying is, Jay, by your logic,
why
it don't matter unless you win a World Series.
That is exactly
what I'm trying to tell you is his fight to get that 62 destroyed his on base percentage.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did.
He had
Every time he didn't get that home run
because of walks. Jay,
he had more
that's not gonna
walks
say what he's gonna say.
the final 3 weeks of the season because people weren't pitching to him. He had a better on.
So therefore, if I take the walk, I get on base percentage rather than striking the fuck out. But what are you talking about? That's some stupid ass shit.
Because
he took more walks.
And the guy that was chasing him in average, Jose Miranda, was getting pitched to. So he was allowed to get base hits to bring
exactly. Thank you, Roger. Oh my God, I don't know where you are, but I wish you were a part of this fucking show because I'm dealing with a bunch of people that have no fucking clue, man.
You don't even know what you're saying yourself.
No, I do know what I just done.
Hey, I know Roger. Roger's a good dude. I see him at a lot of wrestling shows.
Hey, Roger's a good dude. Roger's actually smarter than probably the three of you IQ and baseball all together. And I don't know if someone who says, coming from someone who says Roger, I'm gonna buy his ass a beer.
Coming from someone who said home run crown is the same.
Look, guys, I think at the end of the day, look, there's a couple of things that really matter the most. I do need a hug. God, I need a hug. I would go hug my wife, but she's got 102-degree fever. She's congested as all fuck, and I don't even want to get within 6 inches. But hold on. What I'm saying is this.
6 feet, sir. It's 6 feet.
Maybe 6 feet. But I think we can all understand. Look, there's two categories that matter the most in baseball. When you're a hitter, it's got to be on-base percentage, number one. And then your average is number two, because your average will tell you how many times you're getting on, in terms of that. So why do we put so much weight on trying to get a home run when we should be putting weight on getting on base, getting RBIs, and not striking out? And your on-base percentage, or even getting walks. I mean, if Aaron Judge would have just taken those walks, so to that guy's credit, and Frankie, you know this, they weren't pitching to Judge. So why not just take the walks?
He did take the walks.
Hold on. Why not just take the walks instead of striking at bad pitches? Take the walks, get on base, and do something for your team productively rather than trying to do singularly of trying to get that number 62.
See,
why not?
This tells me. I'm gonna answer you. This tells me right here that you don't even watch Aaron Judge play baseball.
You're right. I don't watch Aaron Judge. I know. No,
I know, because clearly you're not seeing that.
Oh, I've seen him like 10 times.
He was taking the walks.
You think
walks? You're saying why wouldn't he take the walks? Do you think even if he does take the walk, that ups his batting average, Jay?
We're not worried about average. Right now, we're just worried about getting on base.
Oh, now we're not worried about average.
On base percentage. What did I say the first thing was? What did I say the first? What did I say the first thing was? Did I say average or did I say on base percentage?
But Jay, nowadays baseball's become what do they look for? It's either a home run or a strikeout. It's not about base hits like it used to be.
Man. I know what they look for.
The game is
I'm just saying as a person who wants my team to win, if a guy's on base versus striking out, hell yeah, let's go, baby, all day.
Jay, do you know who led the American League in on-base percentage?
Well, I know Tucker was around 867, so I think the on-base percentage. Calm down, Frankie. I didn't say that Tucker was.
I didn't say nothing.
Of on-base,
say nothing.
You're thinking.
I thought I heard him in the back because I'm so. Look, Frankie's got my PTSD worked up.
Jay, if you're thinking,
so the on-base percentage. Yeah.
Jay,
On base plus
think-
On base plus slugging is what you're thinking. Anytime you're in the 800 and 900 range, they take your on base percentage, add it to your slugging percentage. You're thinking of on base plus slugging. If
Well,
you're
that is what I'm thinking.
if you're going strictly with an on base percentage, Aaron Judge led the American League with a 481 on base percentage, which means he was almost on base 50% of the time. So not only was he hitting home runs, not only was he hitting the ball to get on base, but he was taking walks. That's the reason why he lost the Triple Crown, because those final 2 weeks of the season, he had more walks than base hits because people weren't pitching to him, so he took walks instead of trying to do too much. The guy that was chasing him in batting average saw pretty much a pitch to hit every single at bat, and that's why he ended up passing him in batting average, because he was getting pitches to hit.
Jay's just showing his true colors of being an Aaron Judge and a Yankee hater. That's all.
No, I'm not an Aaron Judge or a Yankee hater. I love Aaron Judge. I love Aaron Judge because every time he faces the Astros, he strikes out, and we love strikeouts.
See, there you go.
It's true.
Another hating.
It's true.
Another
No,
hating.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to tell you, I love Aaron Judge. I don't hate Aaron. I don't hate Aaron Judge, and I don't think, and I do think he does do a great job. Again, would I want him on my team? No, I don't. I'd rather have Alvarez on my team than Aaron Judge. But I like Aaron Judge. I think he's a great baseball player.
You're insane. You're insane.
No, I'm
Alvarez
not
don't play
insane.
defense.
I got World
Alvarez don't
Series
play
rings. What do
defense.
you got?
Alvarez
I
don't
got
play
World
defense.
Series rings. What do
Where's
you got?
Alvarez at on the left field? Where's he at on the left field? You, because I specifically
God,
have a
man.
message.
Hey, look, take
specifically
Aaron
have a
Judge.
message.
I don't care.
I specifically have a message
I'm
from you
doing
yourself.
Alvarez.
From
I'm
you
doing
yourself,
Alvarez. You
Mr.
take
J.
Aaron Judge.
McLovin, the Mr. Astro loving fan. I got a message from you yourself that says even you don't want Alvarez on the left field because he doesn't play good defense. So you're telling me you would rather? All right, so you're telling me you'd rather have?
No, you're right.
I
don't disagree with you there. I don't disagree. See, again, you're confusing it. I'm okay because there's a DH for a reason, and I'm okay with having having Alvarez as my DH, which is why I wanted to go after a Benintendi to take over the left field, and I'm good. I'm good.
Hey, before we get out of here, let me ask you guys this: has there been a
We
team?
get out of here? Hell, I thought we were just getting heated up.
Has there been a team that has surprised you with not making moves so far during free agency?
The Dodgers.
The Astros.
Nah, the Dodgers. Well, okay, I get what you're saying because I get it too. I don't know why the Astros, quite honestly, I don't know why we haven't gone after a catcher or a left fielder, which is why I want Benintendi. They have said that they were looking to bring back Brantley, but at the same time, Brantley does have some health issues, which he had that torn labrum last year, which is why we didn't see him in the World Series. But what I love about Brantley was when the Astros were down 2-1, he came into the clubhouse, and his leadership and what he said in that clubhouse put the Astros back into a mental mindset to take the World Series. And sometimes those kinds of guys, that's what you want on your team. That's what you need on your team is guys that can rally up your other guys and put them back in perspective. Even though he couldn't contribute on the field, a guy like Brantley would come into the clubhouse and get the other guys motivated and re-energized. And that's why I want to keep Brantley around for that specific reason. But because he does have health issues, I don't understand why the Astros have not gone after a Benintendi to take over left and then gone after and re-signed Vasquez to back up Maldonado. I mean, those are really the only two guys we need. Benintendi, Vasquez, and Astros can call it a day and relax. And we're good. And I don't know why they haven't done that. To Frankie's point, I know we've had that conversation. I don't know. But again, I think the Dodgers, the lack of pursuit by the Dodgers, I mean, I just don't understand it. You watch guys leave your team, but you're not bringing anybody in. I don't understand what the Dodgers thinking process is.
Yeah, that confused me as well. You see Trey Turner leaving your team to go to the Phillies, and then you have a chance to sign Carlos Correa, but then decide you don't want to sign him for a stupid excuse. I heard it was because of fan-related problems. I think that's just a retarded, or excuse my language.
Yeah,
I shouldn't be saying
that's
that
why I
word,
heard too. They didn't sign him because they were afraid of fan backlash.
At the end of the day, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry, we hate some players at the end of the day, but you can't tell me that you're going to be a fan of that team and not love the player, certain player that comes on your team. If
Let me ask you
Jose
this, hey,
Altuve, if
Frankie.
Jose
Hey, watch this.
Altuve
Hey,
comes
Frankie,
to
to
the
put that
Yankees,
point, Frankie, if the Yankees had the opportunity to move on from a Gleyber Torres at shortstop and bring in a Carlos Correa, would you do it?
I will do it because I will move because Carlos Correa is a good shortstop.
Well,
He's a
Kai is
good
a good
hitter.
shortstop.
I would
he is.
move IKF from shortstop, put him on the bench, or maybe put him even at third base if you want to get rid of Josh Donaldson, because I've been hearing rumors between Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks that might be getting traded soon. So I'll put IKF at third base because that's where he's a Golden Glove winner. Put Carlos Correa at shortstop, and then you can have Oswaldo Cabrera, or you can have Oswaldo Peraza play second base.
Yeah. Was there any stat guy? Do you have any teams that have surprised you?
I'm honestly surprised the Milwaukee Brewers haven't done anything, mainly because their GM admitted it was a mistake to trade Josh Hader last year. And then their GM steps down and is no longer the GM of the Brewers, and they brought in the assistant GM last year is now the GM, so I'm surprised he really hasn't gone out to try to make a splash. I mean, they traded away Hunter Renfroe, but they haven't done anything to basically – they could have went and got Kenley Jansen. They could have went and gotten any other closer for that matter. But they haven't done anything, and you have to wonder if they're kind of getting in that sell mode also, because now you're hearing all the trade talks between Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff and how Atlanta's been actively involved with Corbin Burns, actively trying to get Corbin Burns on the trade talk, and I believe the Yankees are close to getting Brandon Woodruff also.
Well, before we get that, I want to get Carlos Rodon. So let's put that out there first. Before we get anyone, let's get Carlos Rodon first.
What about the Blue Jays? Are you surprised Toronto hasn't been making more moves?
No.
Sure they have. They've been looking at Joey Gallo. That's a perfect move for them.
I'm not surprised Toronto hasn't done anything, because look at how they finished the season last year. After they made that manager change in the middle of the season, look at how they finished their season. They made most of their moves last year. And I think they're kind of in a position now where they don't really have any – I mean, every team has holes, but they don't have any real holes to fill because everybody in their rotation is going to be back. Everybody in that lineup minus Teoscar Hernandez is going to be back because they traded away Teoscar, but the bullpen might need one or two arms, but those are people that you can get pretty much any time during the offseason.
I think the Tampa Bay Rays.
Frankie had talked about bringing in possibly, or he wants to go get Rodon, which I think Rodon would be good in that rotation. I think he'd definitely be better than Frankie Montas. Matter of fact, I think if you bring in Rodon, I think I'll probably trade Montas for picks or whatever you can get for him.
I'll put Montas as a reliever just for now.
Or even, maybe you do that. But like I said, when you look at a guy's career average, Rodon is about a 56 and 46 win-to-loss ratio. And then he's got a 360 career ERA. His last 2 years have been pretty damn good. 21 with the Sox, he went 2.37 ERA. And then in this year with San Francisco, he went 2.88 ERA. So the last 2 years that he's pitched, 21 and 22, have been the best years of his pitching career. Stat guy, what would Carlos Rodon mean for the Yankees in terms of their advancement from where they were last year to where they could be next year?
It would get two of the best left-handers in the American League because you would pair him with Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
And then you would have Luis Severino coming back at full strength. So you're going to have a very good top three in the rotation there. Frankie Montas, I think he's going to have a bounce back year this year. And the only reason why I say that is I think the pressure of New York got to Frankie Montas last year because he went from an organization where he had no pressure to an organization where they expected him to come in and deliver basically the first time he took the baseball. And I think now that he kind of got that out of his system and has that offseason to reset, I think he could be on a comeback season next year because the guy's got nasty stuff. He's got one of the best splitters in the game. He's got one of the best sliders in the game. He throws 97, 98. If he can just clear his head and come back and just not worry about playing in New York, I think Frankie Montas is a huge wild card in that Yankees rotation next year.
Yeah, Frankie. I mean, Dustin does make a good point. It's not like New York Yankees is the easiest team to just go from the A's to the Yankees and play in. I mean, you got to imagine that's a pretty damn tough place to play. So, yeah, on that point, I might give Frankie Montas another season just to see if he can settle down and do what he can do.
Look at Sean Manaea, too. When Sean Manaea left Oakland to go to San Diego, the same situation. He went from Oakland, where Oakland wasn't going anywhere, and he could just go out there and throw, and he got thrown into a situation where San Diego's expected to compete, and Sean Manaea did terrible. And then
if
with
you go from no expectations to expectations, it can take you a little time to adjust.
I think that's why Chris Bassett had the type of year that he had in New York last year with the Mets, because no one expected the Mets to be as good as they were last year. So when Bassett went to New York, it was kind of the same situation. You're going from a team that had no expectations, and you're joining a team that really came into the season as a team that was predicted to take third or fourth place in the NL East. And he ends up having a good year because he didn't let those expectations of having a good season get to him, and he actually pitched best out of all those Oakland pitchers, and he was the worst out of all those Oakland pitchers when he was in Oakland.
Yeah.
Damien asked, is anyone surprised nobody has made a trade offer for Ohtani?
No, because it would literally cost your entire farm system and your entire roster if you want to pull that off.
Not just that. If you were to pay attention to baseball, you'll know that the Angels already said that they're not trading Ohtani. Just saying. I mean, they did say that.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't hear trade offers, but no, the Angels themselves said they're not trading Ohtani. So
yeah, they won't trade Ohtani, but even if they were, it would literally cost your entire farm system and probably half your roster.
Yeah, nobody's dumb enough to do that. I'm sorry. Ohtani's a good player, really good player, pitcher and batter, but you'll be dumb enough to trade away your whole farm and your entire roster for Ohtani.
Yeah, they're not trading him this year. They've already come out and said that. So next year he'll be a free agent, and where he goes after that, well, let the bidding war begin. I think the Yankees are going to be after him, obviously.
I don't think
obviously. You don't think the Yankees would be after Ohtani?
I think he goes back to Japan.
You think Ohtani will go back to Japan?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening, but you got to explain why.
Because his main reason to come stateside was to prove that he could do it. Well, obviously, he proved that he could do it. He is so beloved back in Japan that I think he can get anything he wants if he goes back in Japan. Anything.
Every Japanese player that comes to the States and play baseball is loved in their state of Japan. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you this: has anybody here ever been to a Japanese baseball game?
No, Jay. We're not you. We're not like you.
I'm telling you right now. No, hey, serious. No, I'm not saying that to say that. I'm just saying that to say this. And I'm surprised you've been to Japan. That's awesome.
The World Baseball Classic twice, dude.
Yeah. It's an incredibly weird.
It's fun.
It's weird. No, it's not really fun like it is in the States. I'm sorry. If anybody wants to know what the difference between Japanese baseball and American baseball is, American baseball is a shit. The crowd is a shit. The way we do the game is a shit. When you go to Japan, they give you two little clappers. And when somebody does something good, you just clap. And then you just sit back down. There's no asshole screaming at nobody. There's no true Americanisms in it.
It's because it's Japan.
Why?
You sit down. Hey, watch this. No. Shh. It's like going to a Japanese baseball game. It's like going to the library. Everything is cool, and then all of a sudden you make a little noise, and then the librarian comes out, shh, and then you go back to being quiet, and you just sit there until the next big play comes up, and then you. I swear to God, it's the craziest freaking thing I've ever seen in my life. And if it was the fact that I could get a Kirin beer, a Meg Kirin beer out of the vending machine, I probably wouldn't even call it.
That's another. That's another reason why I think he goes back to Japan too. Is outside of Ichiro and Hideki Matsui, name one Japanese hitter that actually stayed stateside after their original contract.
Yes, there is a difference in wrestling in Japan and in America.
Oh, yeah.
Because Japanese pitchers tend to stay stateside longer, but when it comes to Japanese hitters, Hideki Matsui and Ichiro are the only two that have lasted more than a decade on the States, because usually the Japanese player comes here for their 5-6 year contract, and then they just go back to Japan.
Yo, man, Sui was my guy. That was my dude right there.
Because
Did he ever get a World Series?
He did.
Because look at Kosuke Fukudomi when the
It's a
Cubs
long time since old Matsui. When did Matsui come here? What year was that?
2007.
God,
And he won a ring.
Hideki's been there.
And he won a ring, I think, in 2009.
Yep.
So he got a ring in 07 and he got a ring in 09?
No, he came in 2007. He got his ring in 2000.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I gotta go. That's going back.
He got his ring in 2009 with the Yankees, and he was named MVP. That's what he played great. He was phenomenal. I miss that guy.
For the Athletics, and it was with Oakland for 2 years.
What a time to be alive. Jeez, hey, if you don't mind me asking before, because I know we got to get out of here, but when you look at all the signings and everything that's happened over the last day or so, what team is your winner and what team is your loser in this process?
The loser right now, in my opinion, is the Dodgers, just because they haven't done anything to replace Trey Turner. They haven't done anything to replace Tyler Anderson. They haven't really done anything to replace the people they've lost. Cody Bellinger, too. Granted, Cody had a down year last year, but still another piece they haven't addressed to replace.
Do you think the change of season will help Cody Bellinger now that he's gone over the Cubs?
That's what I said. I think the Cubs are in a great position to have Bellinger because it's a 1 year deal where if he continues to struggle, you're on the hook for him for a year, and then you just part ways like nothing happened. And it's basically with Jason Hayward having 1 year left of his contract, Cody Bellinger's basically finishing Jason Hayward's contract pretty much.
So who's your winner?
I would say the Phillies, just because they got Trey Turner added to that lineup. That lineup was already lethal as it was, and now you add Trey Turner to the beginning of that lineup where you're probably going to have Kyle Schwarber lead off, followed by Trey Turner, followed by Bryce Harper when he's healthy.
No. You don't get Bryce Harper until after the All-Star.
I'm just saying.
And that's if we're truly on time with his rehab.
Well, I did hear a rumor that there's a possibility that Bryce Harper might come back towards May and before the All-Star break.
If he does, that would be incredibly.
It's going to be playing deep.
No. What I'm saying is, the type of injury he took. If he comes back in May, great. But
and then you add in with Harper and Castellanos and Bohm,
Reese Hoskins. I mean, that lineup 1 through 8. There is not a hole in that lineup.
Is it Bohm or Bomb?
It's Bohm. I like Bohm.
I like saying bomb. Because you can't say bomb at an airport. What a time to be alive, man.
Who you got as your winner and loser? I think the Phillies are the winner.
No, I'm definitely I pretty much am right there with Stat Guy. I said that I think at the beginning of the conversation that I thought the lack of what the Dodgers have lost and what they've added, in my opinion, takes the Dodgers right now, unless they just do something erratic, out of the equation. And for teams I'm worried about competing in the NL. I just don't get NL. I don't get the Dodgers now. So because of that, I had the Dodgers as a loser, and the Phillies added Trey Turner, and it's great. I would have liked to see the Phillies add a little bit more quality depth at the reliever position, and that's the only thing that kind of worries me is I don't know the quality of the relievers are quite there to compete against other teams. So that might be their Achilles heel still. But because they added Trey Turner to kind of make that a little bit more offense, I had them as the winner. And the fact that they did address a reliever is a good thing. Is it enough? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait until the season starts to find out if Walker and Strahm are going to be the answers. Because God knows Alvarado sure as hell wasn't. I'm just saying. We'll see what happens. Frankie.
Yeah, I got like 2 and 2, honestly. I got 2 losers and 2 winners. I mean, And I don't want to knock anybody's team down, but for the losers, for me, is going to be the big one. Honestly, is going to be the Dodgers. We all agree on that. And Jay, yeah, you know it. The second one is going to be the Astros. It has to be because, I mean, yes, you guys are defending champions, but you guys haven't made a move yet. I understand there's still more time, but you guys, how much time do you guys have left to try and get somebody good? I mean, you still got Sean Green, that's a free agent that you guys can probably go after. You did agree yourself that you guys need a better catcher or at least another catcher and some outfielders, especially in the left field. So,
You
as
need to
defending champions, you guys need to start signing people.
I think
For
we brought in Abreu, though. That was a big move on the Astros part. Abreu,
that was a good signing,
huge.
but that one person is just not going to help out. You need more.
Oh, that's true. Will it help out? Probably not. But again, if you want to put the fact that we haven't made enough moves as us being a loser, I'm okay with that because I felt like, I felt like we got to shore up that catching position because I don't know if Maldonado, he's a little older in the tooth. I don't know. They need somebody to back him up in case he goes down with injury, and I just haven't seen it happen. So, yeah, to that degree, I understand where you're coming from. Go ahead.
And for my winners, I'm gonna have to go. It's gonna be weird because it's NL East teams. The Phillies for one, for adding Trey Turner, and number two, it's got to be the New York Mets. Nobody's been really looking at what the Mets done. The Mets have been signing really great pitchers. They got Justin Verlander. They got Jose Catana. They've been adding people left and right. To fill in some pitching depth for them. So I feel like the Mets can be second place winners behind the Phillies.
But let me ask you this, Frankie. Now, I have admitted where my team has faltered and why we are what I would consider to be losers in this process, and I think you heard me say that. So I'm being unbiased about my team, even though we're World Series champs. I think you need to be a little bit unbiased about the Yankees and realize that you guys probably are considered losers as well. The fact that you have not addressed your closer or your middle relief or your setup. Would you agree?
Why are you
with
still
that?
worried?
Well,
why are you fully worried?
okay, I mean, you don't have to agree with it. You can fight and argue it all you want.
I'm not biased about my team. You know that I'll always throw out what we need in our team. You know that. We did it yesterday on our show. We did it yesterday on our show.
Yeah.
Where I was telling you what my team is. But
the fact that you're being defensive rather than say, you know what, Jay? Hey, you're right, man. Hey, maybe we are.
I'm being defensive. Because the first thing.
But it's all right. You're a typical New York fan. I get you.
No, because the first thing you threw out was our closer. Why are you worrying about our closer? You're worrying about.
I'm not worried about shit when it comes to New York. You guys are irrelevant.
You're like, oh, you need to worry about your.
Hey, Frankie, the Yankees are irrelevant. I'm not worried about you.
We have Clay Holmes as our closer. You're worrying about freaking Aroldis Chapman.
Clay Holmes. Man, that's the best joke I heard all night. I'm gonna use that in my comedy routine tonight over at Demolition. Go ahead.
It's real funny when you said that whole thing just now. Your southern accent came out because you know for a fact that what you said was unbiased. But anyway,
I'm very unbiased. I felt like we were
so
losers in this process.
You're gonna sit there and think that Clay Holmes is not a good closer?
No, he's not a good closer. He sucked all sacks.
Oh my God! Yeah, after he got hurt.
Oh shit! Now we're gonna bring out the hurt. Okay. We know where Frankie stands.
Don't that change his
another
players?
one of those guys. He's another one of those
players?
typical Yankee fans.
I just
fanboy.
Hold on, Chris.
Fanboy.
Changes players.
Fanboy.
Does that not change players when you get hurt? When they come back, does that not change your
fanboy?
Yeah.
You're a fanboy. It's okay.
Hey, yeah.
You're a grown man crybaby. Shut up.
Hey, Dustin.
You're a 50-year-old man, but inside you're really two.
I gave you good ass examples, but yet I'm okay.
I just read that the Reds might be interested in Drew Smiley. You think that'd be a good pickup for them?
On a multi-year deal because he's an innings eater and he's a veteran that can help those younger starters.
That's what I was thinking too. All right, let's get
my blood pressure is always rising.
Let's get the final thoughts and get ready to get out of here for.
I'm going last. I'm going to
go
third. I'm going to go third. I can reserve that right.
You got what's your final thoughts, Frankie?
My final thoughts is I hope everybody have a good day. Fuck the Astros. They're not really good. Everybody thinks that they're good, but let's not forget who cheated in Game 2 of the World Series. But nobody want to talk about that. You know, you got Colorado using other people's bats when you're not supposed to. You got somebody who's using sticky stuff, but he wants to quickly wipe it off before going to the umpire. But we're not going to talk about that anymore, right? So
You're so petty. You're so.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and just call the Astros champions because we're not calling them champions in 2017. We know that for sure. But other than that, I'm hoping to see a lot of good free agent signings today. We had some good ones yesterday, and expecting to see more today.
Stat guy, what's your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are after 3 years of having a very slow winter meeting process, they made up for it this year as $1.7 billion in revenue was made on player signings the last 4 days.
Is Roger a Met fan? Jay, is Roger a Met fan?
I believe so. Well, I mean, he said Mets over everybody, so I'm going to automatically assume that he's a Mets fan.
Now I see why he says Astro over Yankees. You want to know why? Because when it comes to Yankees and Mets, he's my redheaded stepchild. Sit down in your seat, son. I'll come see you later, and that's never.
Hold on, I got one thing. Hold on one second.
Falcons are looking to bench Mariota.
Get him off the screen. I know what he's bringing. Get him off the screen. Get him off the screen, Chris. I know what he's bringing. Hurry up, Chris. I know he was bringing.
Hey, listen. As an Astros fan, it gets tired sweeping away the residue of teams that never mattered. It gets tired of sweeping all these teams all the way to the World Series. It just gets tiring. Oh, hold on a minute. A little bit of Aaron Judge right there.
Did you just lick your broom?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're nasty. You're nasty.
Hold on.
This is what Astro fans do, guys. This is exactly what Astro fans do.
Hold on. Hey, this is my final thoughts. It's my final thoughts. You shut your mouth. I was quiet when you said your shit. Hold on. I got a little bit more Aaron Judge. Hold on. I got a little bit more Aaron Judge to sweep out for a minute. Hold on.
he licked the broom.
Okay.
Broomstick.
Okay. We have officially swept all of the Yankee crap that Frankie has spewed today.
Oh shit!
I just simulated. Now be quiet.
I got 2 questions, Jay.
Hold on. God damn it! It's my final thought.
I thought your final thought was done.
I was not done because I keep getting interrupted. Listen, let me tell you something.
Oh, how do you like it?
Hey, hold on. Hey, let me tell you something. For those of you that quote unquote may have had a quote unquote issue with me, quote unquote simulate licking the edge of that broom. If you've never been to Afghanistan, you don't know what the fuck we eat over there. Trust me. And you think that broom is bad? What the government gives us what the government gives the average soldier to eat in combat is 10 times worse than that. I swear to God, that shit right there was healthier than what we eat. I promise you.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. I bet you sweep your dog's hair with that.
No,
are you done? Are you done? Because last time I checked, I thought you were done when we swept you out the playoffs. But if you're not done and you want a little bit more time for your minuscule, irrelevant Yankees who did nothing and really truly to advance themselves, that's fine. Go ahead. Because when we beat you again next year in the playoffs, we're going to have the same conversation.
Well, with the way you're going,
hold on. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's try this again. Frankie, give me your opening thoughts, and when you let me know, I'm gonna come back to my turn, and I'll be quiet and wait.
Opening thoughts. Let's start the show over.
my opening thoughts is how Jay can dirty can be.
I just love how people who don't matter always got to say something about those who do. And those who do matter have nothing to say about those who don't.
Jay, you're the biggest one who
But I will
always
say this. I will say,
people
as the
like
reigning Major League Baseball champions, Houston Astros, because we are the champions. It's always a beautiful thing when I'm at the top of the mountain and I'm looking down at the bottom and I see the Yankees there. And it just tickles my throat when I see Frankie watching me play
I
the
think licking that broom tickled your throat.
when I'm playing the Phillies and Frankie's over there on the couch in the fetal position because he wishes he could be me. People always want to be other people, right? People always want to be winners. And when you're a loser, you always want to be a winner. God, what a time to be alive. I'm just saying to be alive.
I can speak for everyone else here.
Hey, I'm a winner.
None of us want to be like you.
I'm a winner. And Frankie, well, Frankie's Frankie. Frankie is the afterthought. Frankie didn't even win a game against the Houston Astros. So what qualifications does he really have to speak to me?
You see, there goes another mistake. We won 2 games out of the Astros. Shut your mouth.
No.
If you're gonna be correct, if you're gonna be correct, then say, all right,
not
then
in
be
the playoffs.
correct. Then be correct and say,
in the ALCS, did the Yankees win the ALCS? I apologize.
Correct. Be more correct.
Did you win the ALCS?
Be more correct, Jay, and say
there you go.
You did not
win. You did not win the ALCS.
So be more accurate.
It doesn't
be
matter.
More accurate. Stop being a Southern guy. I wanted to say something else, but I'm trying to be polite to you. Stop being a Southern guy. Be more accurate and say when you didn't beat us in the ALCS. Don't say when you didn't beat the Houston Astros because we beat you twice this year. Just say accurately.
Hang on to those regular season games. Hey, watch this. Hang on to those regular season games. God, how we love regular season. No, for real. We love all season. Done with baseball. Hey, but I will say this. America, wake up. America, wake up.
Damien, I'll have to do a little more research on that. We'll talk about that on the afternoon show.
About to say, how are you gonna jump from baseball to what does it say around the bases? Does it say around the end zone?
Yeah, we'll talk
around the leagues.
Hey, no, listen, hey, listen. I do have one thing to say. Hey, America, listen, man. You just let go of the merchant of death. You just let go of the merchant of death. He's out there roaming now, and he's supporting Al Qaeda and Taliban. Be prepared for future things that possibly could come out of this. I'm just saying, God. I hope everybody that does international security for America, whether it be at the airport or our flight controllers or even overseas. Hey, man, listen, y'all make sure you're keeping an eye out because you are the protector of our borders. And I pray that as we go forward as a nation, man, that our protector of our borders will continuously do the amazing job that you've been doing. I salute you.
All right. My final thought is,
shut the hell up, Chris. You don't care about your final thoughts.
For the afternoon show at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live streaming high school wrestling as we have Muncie Central High School against Cowan. Going to be pretty cool. A buddy of mine coaches Central, and then my former high school coach coaches Cowan. We're going to be live streaming that at 6 p.m. this evening. So come join us for some high school wrestling.
Did you say
first time doing some amateur wrestling? We usually do the pro wrestling stuff.
And don't forget Unscripted tonight at 7.
Yeah, Unscripted tonight at 7. We will see you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. for another episode of Around the Bases. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.